to call the regular board meeting for Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023 to start. Mr. Treasurer, we're going to start with a moment of silence. I want everybody to know we do have a little change, so that way people are aware. It's not going to be up there, but we're going to do a moment of silence. A roll call, pledge of allegiance, mission and vision. Then we're going to approve the board meeting, board agenda, excuse me. So I just want everybody to be aware that's why it's different if we're not going off script. So now would you please join me for a moment of silence, please? Thank you. Mr. Treasurer, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Parker. Here. Ms. Barnes.
Here.
Mrs. Gherkin.
Here.
Mrs. Barwig.
Present.
Mr. Vasquez.
Here.
Thank you. And now we will have the Pledge of Allegiance. You can stand if you would like to participate. Thank you, as well as Smart Academy students, for doing our pledge in English and in Spanish. Now I'll turn it over to Dr. Durant to recite the mission and vision.
Yes, TPS mission to produce competitive college and career-ready graduates through a rigorous curriculum across all grade levels by implementing Ohio learning standards with fidelity, vision statement, and strive to be an A-rated school district whose graduates are college and career-ready. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Durant. And now we will have section 2, our presentations, and I will turn it over. Oh, nope, you're right. I just forgot what I just said. So now I will ask for a motion to approve today's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Ms. Barnes.
Yes.
Mrs. Gherkin.
Yes.
Mrs. Barwig.
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez.
Yes.
Now, section 2, we will have presentations, and I will turn it over to Ms. Linda Brigman.
Thank you and good evening. This evening we'll begin with a thank you to the Board of Education. The following Woodward School SMART students would like to extend a thank you to the board. If you could please come forward and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Elbo Barcenas.
Hi, I'm Avi.
Hello, I'm Paulino Castellanos.
Hi, my name is Carla Barcenas.
Hello, I'm Christopher Alcantar.
And next we'll have a video that they produced. And you have a little bit to say?
Just want to say a few words before the video. I want to thank Smart for all the opportunity and doing this video, showing you guys how much all the students in Smart really appreciate you guys. In the video, we the student, we shoot it at Imagination Station. So we were having fun. There were a little noise in the background, so it might be a little hard to hear, but this is our video. Thank you.
Hi, we are from a SMARTS group from Toledo Lake College, and we wanted to thank you for all your support.
We appreciate the opportunity of SMARTS that you have given us.
We also appreciate the opportunity to meet with other schools to alleviate our problems.
And once again, we'd like to thank you for your endless investments.
I want to thank SMARTS for giving me the opportunity to give opinions about how to fix some lunches or how to be better for the future and be more responsible perspective and more intelligent about stuff.
Okay, I want to thank Smarts for giving me an opportunity to help better my school and give people an opportunity to have it better next year when I'm gone.
Thank you, Smarts, for giving me the leadership and the confidence to do things I never thought I would.
Thank you, Smarts, for letting us voice our opinions and have says in almost everything that we do, and to help others.
Thank you, Smarts, for helping me be involved, and I appreciate it. And I'm very excited to help out with our school community.
The Virtual Academy would like to thank our district leaders for their constant support of the SMARTS program and for giving all of our students a voice and a chance to make changes in their community.
I enjoy SMARTS because I think it's an amazing program that TPS has at all the schools. The students are able to voice their concerns, opinions, whether it's negative or positive, and TPS does something to help them. For example, we are virtual, we're trying to get more sociable events, so SMARTS, we're working on the SMARTS program so they can incorporate a more normal brick and mortar school into our high school experience.
Thanks for giving us the opportunity to voice our opinions and control our future.
Thanks for giving us the opportunity to voice our opinion as a student body to better our school.
SMARTS is a way to represent all the schools on the district level with the board. We're able to communicate with them, share advice, and engage with the students.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to voice our opinions and help within our community.
I'm really happy to be in SMARTS. Thank you for the support.
Thank you for your constant support and advocacy for student-led causes.
Thank you from Star SMARTS.
Thank you, Smarts.
Robinson from Young Scholars Program.
Good evening, President Barnes, Vice President Parker, members of the board, Treasurer, Internal Auditor, and Superintendent Dr. Durant. I bring to you greetings on behalf of Yolanda Cepeda, Interim Vice Provost for the Office of Diversity and Inclusion at The Ohio State University. My name is Sam Robinson, and I'm honored to serve as the Program Coordinator for the City of Toledo. This year, we celebrated 104 Young Scholar students from across the state of Ohio who will graduate from high school and prepare for their transition to higher education in the fall. Thank you for your continuous support and partnership of YSP and for allowing us to publicly congratulate those students with you today. There are 12 Young Scholar participants who will graduate from Toledo Public Schools. 11 Young Scholars will attend The Ohio State University in fall of 2023. This year, Ohio State awarded more than $6.7 million in scholarship monies to the Young Scholars over the next 4 years. Toledo Young Scholars will be awarded $814,000 for 4 years of undergraduate education. The average annual Young Scholar scholarship is $16,223 and meets 100% of students' demonstrated financial need. So, as I go through and highlight all of our scholars, I wanted to show you guys this picture right here. If you were to go to the Ohio State website and you were to search the Young Scholars Program, this is the photo that you will see. This was 4 years ago. This was the 8th grade students, the students that you see here, at their first time attending Ohio State University. And this picture right here is powerful to me because it tells a story. Some of the students that are in this picture are not in this room. Many of them are, and it shows their dedication and their hard work. One thing I tell my students all the time, every day, you have 2 options. You have a chance and you have a choice. So when you go to bed at night, did you make sure that you made the best chance? Did you make sure that you made the best choice for yourself? And if not, that was your choice. Excuse me, I just said that totally wrong, right? But you know what I mean. You got it. So, the first student is Hannah Adamczyk. She's a graduate from Central Catholic High School, product from Toledo Public Schools, Chase STEM Academy. She will be majoring in biology. Karan Anderson, Start High School. His intended major is sports industry. Elba Barsanis, Woodward High School. She will be majoring in pharmacy. Elba was also our Toledo Senior Scholar of the Year. Daniel Brackett, Jones Leadership Academy of Business. He will be majoring in engineering, and Daniel was also accepted directly into the engineering program at Ohio State University. Jada Carpenter, Bowser High School. Jada will be majoring in business. Gerardo Guerrero, Woodward High School. Gerardo will be attending Owens Community College. Heaven Riley, Jones Leadership Academy of Business. Heaven will be in the pre-health major. Shanila Tucker, Bowser High School. Nyla will be majoring in chemistry. Ricky Urbina, Start High School. Ricky will be majoring in physical education. Millicent Valevos, Wait High School. Millicent will be majoring in film studies. Raymond Woodall, Bowser High School. Raymond will be majoring in pre-business. And Jelena Williams, Jones Leadership Academy of Business. Her intended major, radiological science. So I thank you, and I introduce you guys to our 2023 graduating class.
Before you sit down, we gonna get a picture.
Okay, I got you. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Congratulations to all and best wishes. Next, we have a thank you to 2 special coaches. Daryl Dorn was our first person we'd like to recognize for his accomplishments. If you could please come forward. Here are a few of the accomplishments. 2004 OHSAA State Award for Exemplary Contribution and Service. 2006 Regular Season Champion Toledo City Athletic League, Toledo City Athletic League runner-up. Head Coach City Scott High School. 2006 Team Time Coach Fellowship and Christian Athletes. 2013 Community Coach of the Year Fellowship of Christian Athletes. 2022 Toledo City Athletic League runner-up. Head Girls Basketball Coach Bowser High School. 2023 Chuck Ely Undefeated Spirit Influencer Award Recognition, Toledo City Athletic League Coach of the Year 2006, 2015, 2022, 2023. 27 years of coaching in Toledo Public School boys and girls basketball. Congratulations and thank you for your service. next coach that we would like to recognize is Joseph Guerrero. Of his many accomplishments, 5-time Toledo City League Coach of the Year, 4-time District 7 Coach of the Year, 2-time Northwest Ohio District AP Coach of the Year, 4 Toledo City Athletic League titles, 4 sectional titles, 1 district title, 1 regional appearance. 1991 Wade High School boys basketball team most wins in a season, 19. 2014 State Coach of the Year. 2014 Bowser boys basketball team most wins in a season, 24. And 2023 Chuck Ely Undefeated Spirit Influencer Award recipient, 410 career wins.
This is turning into a aerobics class. This is exhausting. You know, they were naming all of those colleges, and I was really happy. Oh, right. Research. Community colleges. Home team. Community college.
Coach, thank you for your many years of service to Toledo Public Schools. Each coach received a plaque with their photo on it and their many accomplishments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy 170th TPS. Did you know that on May 8th, 2024, we will celebrate the 175th anniversary of the founding of Toledo Public Schools? TPS is the third oldest institution in Toledo, and we are excited to share our rich history with our community. Tonight, we have the district's resident historian, Robin Haig. She's here to announce some upcoming events.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here. I didn't know I was speaking, so I'm going to do this extemporaneously. First of all, I get asked the question, why is this important to our school district? You cannot name another entity that has more impact on the history of our city than Toledo Public Schools. A couple years ago, I was asked to guesstimate how many students we've graduated over the past 175 years, and it was pushing 500,000. When you consider all those people and the lives they touched, the buildings that they built in this city and the careers that they had, that is a huge impact on our city. We do have some postcards, and there is a brand new website. It's the 175th anniversary. You can go to tps.org and see it. It's still under construction because I've been kind of busy at Bowser, but there is a timeline there. There is a listing of all the different activities. We are kicking it off next month with a walking tour at Historic Woodlawn Cemetery. I'm sure you'll be dying to attend that one. There will be a display at the Great Lakes Museum starting in July, and also we will be touring all the historic buildings this fall. And in addition, there'll be a major exhibit at the main library downtown from 1849 to 1890, and that will continue to revolve throughout the year. So thank you again for this opportunity. Thank you also for helping to sponsor the TPS Local History Lecture Series. We've been averaging anywhere between 50 to 300 people at our March event. Most of these are from the older population, and it's a great way to showcase our buildings and get them into our facilities, and they enjoy coming to those. So thank you very much for your support.
Great, thank you so much. At this time, we do have a resolution recognizing our 175th anniversary.
Thank you. And Ms. Hage, thank you so much for being our historian, so to speak, for our district. I know several years ago when we spoke about the history of TPS and honoring it and recognizing it, to come to fruition here, we're going into our 175th year, it's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting stuff. All right, so let me go ahead and read this resolution. Whereas Toledo Public Schools was founded on May 8th, 1849, and will celebrate its 175th anniversary on May 8th, 2024, and whereas this important occasion provides an ideal time to reflect on the contributions the district has made in shaping the history of the city of Toledo, and whereas for 175 years, the lives of hundreds of thousands of Toledoans have been formed within the walls of their neighborhood schools, leading to each one's mark on the future of our society. And whereas the district is one of the 3 oldest entities in the city of Toledo. Whereas from its inception on May 8, 1849 to present day, TPS remains a progressive, forward-thinking school district. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education of Toledo Public Schools recognizes the tremendous accomplishment of educating the youth of Toledo for 175 years. I would like to make a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved. Second.
Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Mrs. Gerken?
Yes.
Mrs. Varwig?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we have retirees. We have 2 this evening. The first is Catherine Mano, paraprofessional at Larchmont with 33 years of service. We also have Anna L. Valerio, art teacher at Jones Leadership of Business, 29 years, total years of service, 62 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brigman. Now we're going to go to section 3, which is our community comments, and I will turn it over to the treasurer.
The board values the input of citizens and community members regarding all aspects of the district. The board understands that education is the center of all community issues and activities, and that input is important because it allows the board to hear all views on all matters. In order to ensure a quality public comment portion during board meetings, all citizens and community members who are scheduled to speak before the board shall abide by these general rules. 1. Each speaker has 3 minutes unless modified by the board president. 2. The time will be displayed for the speaker and the public to see. The treasurer will announce when time has expired. 3. Any questions that speakers would like responses to should be submitted in writing, and the board president will secure answers within a reasonable time frame, normally 7 to 10 days, depending on the amount of research required to provide a comprehensive response and the time-sensitive nature of the question. 4. Board members will not engage in policy dialogue with speakers, but will use their established committee format to have substantive dialogue. The public comment section is the opportunity for the board to listen to all citizens and community members and make contact with speakers following the meeting for individual feedback and questions. The general guidelines are established as a way to provide the maximum opportunity for board members to listen to citizens and community members and provide an organized and structured procedure for feedback that will help our students and families.
Thank you. And now I would like to call Ms. Sue Terrell up.
Oh, okay. Thank you for this opportunity to speak before the Board of Education. As Memorial Day approaches, this is an opportune moment to thank the Toledo Public Schools Board of Education for the eventual cooperation in 2016 in placing the historic Libby High School War Memorial plaques, which lists the 108 World War II fallen from our full South Side community before there was a Bowsher High School, which ironically means many of the names on it now come from the same neighborhood that composes Bowsher High School. And of course, just to remind everybody, Libby High School was that vast area that covered all of the South Side before Bowsher was built. So I refer to Libby High School as the mother school to to Bowsher High School, first opened in 1962. Libby was opened in 1923. And again, the second version of Bowsher High School was built in 2008. One of Libby High School's children, if not her stepchild. This means that most of those listed on our World War II memorial lived in what is the current Bowsher district, and it is now encompassed by the Bowsher district, but receives, I don't think, any look from the Bowsher High School school to honor, which is just a block away at the Veterans Administration, and it's a beautiful display. We're certainly grateful to TPS approved a memorial placement at the United States Department of Veterans Affairs Toledo community-based outpatient clinic on South Detroit, which, as I said, is just blocks away from Bowsher High School. And it is mere blocks from Lieutenant Craig's home, which he is our Congressional Medal of Honor recipient, and of course, the bridge that honors him is not far from the Board of Education. Friday, I was at the Veterans Outpatient Clinic with my brother, a Vietnam-era grad, and felt a sense of gratitude to the VA. I'm thankful that TPS has recently permitted Libby High School alumni to view the school artifacts held in your LOF storage since 2010. It was only in 2013 the alumni were able to view close-up the names on the World War II memorial, even though virtually every year they were in our yearbook where people were pictured in front of them. We did not know the names until we actually saw the memorial itself. So with the opening of the VA on South Detroit in 2012, our alum and late Mayor Mike Collins served on that committee, and he secured the Libby High School plaque of the Congressional Medal of Honor recipient. And it was a number of years later that we helped TPS agree to facilitate it at the Veterans Administration. And besides our own Libby people, we even had TPS's own Tina Moffett, John Jordan, and Joe Boyle, who are among the very few people who worked to help get that memorial placed. So today, the World War Memorial is at the VA, the second floor. To the left is the Craig Memorial. To the right is the Congressional Medal for Civil War Sergeant Brown. And in addition, several years ago, through the courtesy and generosity of Joe Boyle, a database of those fallen soldiers from Libby High School listed on the memorial was given to us.
Time is up.
Okay. I have more to give you, so I'll just make sure that you get a copy. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will move on to section 4, which is our organizational input. Mr. Ramirez.
I just had a couple things. The SMARTS presentation was very good, the video, and I have to give a shout out to my wife, of course, Dr. Ramirez, who's part advisor there at Woodward, for putting that together. But really, I remember this starting, and I mentioned to Ms. Varwig, that we had student voices or something, and it converted into SMARTS, and with, everybody knows Ms. Varwig, with her hard work and tenacity and push to make that happen, I think it has grown into a great program, and I think people see it and recognize it, and those kids certainly do. So I do want to thank you for that push. A couple things. Young scholars, 11 out of the 12 students are going to OSU. That's my alma mater, so I'm glad to hear that. And hopefully those kids come back. And it would be good if we stay in contact and see how they, you know, the one was a phys ed teacher in chemistry, I heard. So if we can get them back, we could use them. Lastly was coaches. You know, I work with both of those, I want to say young men, but both of those gentlemen. through my career when I was a student, and then working with them as a colleague. And it was good to hear their stats, but I do wonder, it's more than wins and losses. It's how many kids they touched, their lives and their families. I'm going to say this as a teacher, that I learned more from my coaches than I did my teachers. And that's coming from a person that did coach and did teach. And I think that the legacy of those two gentlemen left is the kids and families. It wasn't the numbers, the wins and losses, but it was the impact they had on many of our students' lives. So I know they were gone, but I did want to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to section 5, which is our comments by the board. Board member Vasquez.
Yeah, I just want to say this is an exciting time of the year for all of our graduates. It's time for celebration. As far as presentations are concerned with the SMARTS students, we have them at our FACE committee on a regular basis when we go to the different schools. It's one of the things I enjoy the most is interacting with our students from the SMARTS group. They have made a difference in the actual operations of the schools. We should probably go back and look at, they mentioned a couple of them here, but we should probably go back and look at what kind of impact they've had. Every time that I've had an opportunity to meet with our students, they are so articulate. They talk about things that are relevant, and they are so respectful in their presentations. And I just want to say it is a pleasure working with them, and I want to congratulate our staff who work with the students directly. You're obviously doing all the right things. Those students, they're just amazing. I really have to say they're amazing. And that's one of the things that I enjoy the most out of all of my committees. The other thing is, and I think that you're right, Mr. Ramirez, it's the coaches, and this time of the year we celebrate students graduating, but it's coaches, teachers, it's the administration, superintendent and deputy superintendent, and all of our staff. You have touched so many lives. And with the presentation we had earlier about our history, I was amazed at how many students, and I would like to get a better handle on how many students we can estimate have gone through Toledo Public Schools. That number just amazed me. I had no idea, and you have no idea until you hear it. So I just want to say thank you to everybody over the years, and thank everybody this year who have touched the lives of our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Board member Farwick.
Thank you, Madam President. A few things. One, I want to call out the Escuela Smarts Academy. Again, their Pledge of Allegiance in both English and Spanish. You just don't hear that as I travel around the state of Ohio in another hat that I wear. You do not hear it. And so I certainly brag about our Escuela Smarts Academy at any opportunity that I have, especially since my granddaughter is one of the students as well, and it's just a joy. She relishes being at that school. She's happy every day that she's at the end of her day, and she gets a kick out of calling me abuelo. So I need to learn Spanish, I think. The other thing, I want to thank the Woodward Smarts students, especially Avi. He's a senior this year. He's been here a few times and gotten to know him. Such a joy to witness, to see the progress that they have made, the leaders that they are becoming. And I want to thank my colleagues because years ago when Miss Gherkin and I were talking and brainstorming, came up with the student voice concept that we had kind of seen from another school district, and we thought, you know what, we need to bring that back here and make it our own and allow the students that ability to grow into the leaders that they are and truly have their voice heard. So I want to thank my colleagues for helping to create and nourish that opportunity for our students. The Ohio State Young Scholars, my goodness, it's so impressive. I wish them well. I want to hear from them. I want to hear how they're doing. I mean, looking at that picture from when they're in 8th grade to now, and here they are setting off for their adventure. So hopefully we, as a district, start staying in touch with some of our graduates so that way we can hear what they're doing and share the positive stories of Toledo Public School grads. Certainly, I want to congratulate our retirees and our coaches. We could not do what we do every day in this district without the dedicated staff and our coaches. So certainly thank them for that. And then 175 years is a big deal. It's not many institutions that get to say that. So a few years ago, Ms. Hage and I were talking about trying to honor that history and just the memorabilia and you know, the memories that so many people have from years ago, their graduation time, their time in high school. We need to recognize and honor those accomplishments throughout the year. So I'm excited about the year ahead and what's to come. And then just a final note, I guess two things. We have graduation season amongst us right now, and this is the time that I get excited about, right? It's always the beginning of the year when you have the kindergartners coming in, but then the seniors that are graduating and all that they've experienced and accomplished, such smiles on their faces, and their families are so joyous. It's a great time to be a part of the TPS family. And I would be remiss if I did not state that why I fight so hard down at the state level is because of the students that we witnessed here tonight, whether it was on the screen, here in person, or those graduating this year, those out doing the job that they need to do on their everyday. That's why I fight at the state level. And I'm going to just mention the vouchers yet again. What a travesty it is that our state legislators feel the need to fund another form of education when they cannot fully fund public education first and foremost, which is part of the Constitution of the state of Ohio. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Gergen.
Thank you. I really enjoyed all of the presentations as well. It really kind of sets the tone for us at the beginning of each of these board meetings to see, hear directly from our students and honor those people that have committed their lives to children. So I really appreciate those. It is graduation season, and I think Dr. D, you and I we have 1, 2, and 3. We had one behind us last week, and we have 2 and 3 tomorrow, correct? So I'll have my graduation duties behind me after tomorrow, and the rest of you will still be running the sprint with Dr. Durant, who does each and every one of them. I need to say something about the one graduation that we already did. I had my granddaughter graduated from Toledo Early College, and as I mentioned, being on stage has its privileges, right? So I was privileged to be able to give her her diploma, and of course some really cool pictures of her and I, meeting on stage and me handing her diploma. And I mentioned that, in 10 years on the board, we've probably each done 25 or 30 of these, depending on if it's a 3 graduation year or two graduation. We keep adding schools, so we keep adding graduations. But I was so nervous because my whole family was there celebrating. It was so much different than just, than giving it for our students, which I really appreciated. But I'm ready to go tomorrow with you, Dr. D, to take care of our students at ANSAT and the virtual academy and accept those graduates on behalf of the district. So it's always like the most exciting thing that we do all year. It's like I try to mention, it's our why. My colleague here only said one thing about what's going on at the State House, so I thought maybe I would throw a little something in there. we already know that we've been fighting many, many battles on many, many fronts from our state legislatures, our state lawmakers. One that comes to mind, and we already passed all these resolutions saying how we felt about them, so I'm not going to go through all that again, but I've become increasingly alarmed at this notion of the Social Studies Standards Task Force, which is House Bill 103. There are lots of reasons to be worried about it, especially them calling out exactly what kind of social studies curriculum they want us to end up with, which is one that is not inclusive and does not make sure that we're teaching the truth. So there's that they've already kind of got their eye on the ball of what they want us to develop the standards around. And I think every social studies teacher in the country should be getting on buses to the states that are trying to alter how we teach the history of our country. I would like to see us be able to find a way to get our own social studies teachers there, whatever we have to do. The other thing, what could go wrong with this? The task forces, the members of the task force are being appointed by three people: the governor, president of the Senate, the Speaker of the House. What could go wrong there? The entire task force is being appointed by 3 political people from the same persuasion. So how is that even a task force? How does that even represent, a wide range of experts on the topic of teaching and learning? So again, I'm just, I'm dismayed at the multiple attacks, and I think particularly focusing on interfering with teaching the truth in an inclusive and fair way is something that we should all be concerned about. It's just one of many things we should be concerned about. So thank you for the rant. Take care.
Thank you. Vice President Parker.
Thank you, Madam President. I really feel during board comments we should play like musical chairs, so I'm not the last one to do that. Everything that my colleagues have said, I actually feel the exact same way. I want to say about the Woodward Smart students, their awesome presentation on today, and Ms. Ramirez said, and I wrote it down even while we were looking at the video, that thank you to my colleagues. Thank you for not just saying, but showing that we believed in our students and their voice. And it's evident that seed that we've sown has produced a harvest of students that feel like they matter and their opinions matter. And so I think that's absolutely amazing. And to the Ohio State University's Young Scholars Program and the graduates, and to our coaches being recognized, it's just been a real good vibe board meeting. And I know they say Christmas is, but I think this is the most wonderful time of the year with graduation and things that are taking place. And Coach Dorn, his son is my son is his son. They're best friends. Coach Guerrero, my son, played for him in his last season. So definitely celebrating and honoring them, and just the strength in our history, and that someone is taking time to really highlight the strength and the foundation of TPS is absolutely phenomenal. Thank you to my colleagues for sharing the concerns even with the state and what's going on, and how we will, as the district, continue to fight against those who try to fight against public education. We are placed in these seats to be the voice, and so we will continue to do that by any means necessary. And finally, this is my last 7 days as an active parent of Toledo Public School students. And so I have the honor, Mrs. Gerken said it best, the privilege to hand my twins their diplomas on next week at Bowser. And we have worked numerous hours on a special handshake, and they made me sign an NDA that I would not cry and say certain things during my time. But I am honored as a parent. First of all, I'm honored to be a product of TPS, and to have my students, my children, my 3 children, become a product and alumni of TPS is something that I hold dear to my heart. They believe in TPS, they love TPS, and because of TPS, they can build their future. So thank you again to our educators, to our administrators. Dr. Durant, thank you, sir, and let the good times roll.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I think I spent enough energy and time giving to cowards who attack children and bigots at the state. So I will focus on happy thoughts. And so first, I want to celebrate and thank the staff and the volunteers that were out for the ability games. I was really excited. My youngest, who was 10, he actually did 3 events before he said, okay, I'm ready to go. And just to see like all the kids enjoying, and everybody got a medal, and the staff really encouraging all our students to do the best of their ability. And it was just beautiful. And so thank you, Dr. Allen, and your team from a special needs mom. That means a lot to me, that we create a space for all kids to feel like winners. So I truly appreciate that. I have enjoyed a couple field days so far too. They tried to wet me yesterday at Leverett, but I was quick enough. And so once again, our staff is going above and beyond to make sure our students are enjoying their time and celebrating that the school year is ending on a high note, and just all the activities, the planning, okay? The planning that goes into this, I don't think y'all understand. It's bigger than a birthday party. And so that was amazing. And I want to say back to the ability games, we had 180 students that day, so that was a lot. And they did amazing. To the SMARTS team, the staff that helps with the SMARTS, oh my goodness, like to see the leadership in our youth. And to see the promise for our future. And I wouldn't be myself if I didn't tell them to keep pushing harder on the board for the things that they ask. Don't get silent, don't get weary. Just because we listen, and still grow louder with your ask. And so I am so proud of you and all that you have accomplished, and especially to our seniors who are going out into the world to be even bigger leaders. I salute you, and I encourage you to keep taking up space. To the Ohio State Young Scholars is amazing. I had the privilege to screen our future scholars through that program, and then each student that I saw and spoke with was ready. Even though they go into OSU, I'm a Michigander, go blue, I still was excited to participate. And I want to take this time out to give flowers to Sam. The dedication that he puts into that program to make sure that our students have access to something so great, to encourage them to keep going even when challenges they face. And I don't think we honestly know the hard work that he puts into making sure their needs are met to accomplish such a great goal of completing college. And then everybody said at graduation, my only request is I don't have to go after Dr. Durant after every graduation. They don't care about what I'm about to say. So if we can make a motion to move that sometime, I will be very happy. I am excited to start our graduation season and see the families and celebrate the students and also celebrate the staff. Each year you show up and you show out, and I know sometimes it's not easy, but you come back and you keep coming back to make sure our students have that high quality education that we strive here in TPS. And I thank you, Dr. Durant, for your leadership as a mother and as a board member. And finally, we have the cutest picture of Dr. Durant and one of our early Head Start babies circling social media. If you haven't seen it, please, it's the best picture ever. We celebrated a year anniversary of our teen program. It's for teen parents have opportunity to have childcare and early Head Start while they achieve their educational career. And it was so special to me to talk to the parents there and to bring my daughter, who I had at 15, who had just graduated from Youngstown State University, summa cum laude, pre-law. So I got to put that out there, period. But it was really a beautiful moment for me to hopefully encourage the parents to keep going, even though challenges are there. And not only they can be successful, so their children can too as well. So I do appreciate everything our staff is doing to support all our students. And this meeting tonight just kind of highlight once again why I am TPS proud. We just saw amazing journey from our youth to our seasons in TPS, and that's what it's all about. And like I said, I'm not going to give energy to cowards and bigots. So with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to Section 6, Consent Agenda. Agenda items 6.01 through 6.27 are consent agenda items. Board members may request to pull an item from the consent and move it to the discussion section of the agenda. Item 6.601 through 6.05, Human Resources, Staff Development, and Training Committee. Chair, Board Member Gerken, Co-Chair, Board President Barnes. That's me. I'm just going to say me. Item 6.06 through 6.12, Finance and Business Operation Committee. Chair, Board Member Vasquez. Co-Chair, Board Member Varwig. Item 6.13, Technology Improvement and Process Committee. No action item this month. Chair, Board Member Gerken, Co-Chair, Vice President Parker. Item 6.14 through 6.15, Board Curriculum Instruction and Academic Excellence. Chair, Board Member Gerken, Co-Chair, Board Member Varwig. Item 6.16 through 6.21, Policy Committee. Chair, Board Member Vasquez, Co-Chair, myself. Item 6.22 through 6.24, Arts, Athletics, and Students Achievement Committee. Students Activities Committee. I'm making up words tonight. Chair, Board Member Varwig. Co-Chair, Vice President Parker. Item 6.25, Family and Community Engagement Committee. No action items. Chair, Board Member Vasquez. Co-Chair, Vice President Parker. Item 6.26 through 6.27, approval of the board minutes. I would like to make a request to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Treasurer, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Mrs. Gerken?
Yes.
Mrs. Varwig?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Thank you. Section 7 of the agenda consists of reports and minutes from this month's committee meetings and are here for your information and reference. No action item is required, so we can proceed to Section 8 of the agenda. For discussion item, we have 8.01, the non-certified section. I would like to request a motion to approve the May 23rd, 2023 non-certified section.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Mrs. Gerken?
Yes.
Mrs. Varwig?
Abstain.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Thank you. Section 8.02 is the 5-year forecast. I would like to request a motion to approve the 5-year forecast.
So moved.
Oh, wait, we have a discussion item?
First, second, no discussion.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, now we can have a discussion.
So tonight, we need, or per Ohio law, we're required to update our forecast in May. So tonight, we're going to go provide you with the update. So tonight we'll go over the executive summary, then we'll look at the external factors that affect the forecast. We'll look at the key assumptions, then we'll review the forecast, and then we'll go over the one that we are recommending. So Overall, on the executive summary, the forecast is used by the administration, stakeholders, and policymakers to make informed decisions regarding the finances of the district, and we use it for long-term planning. Underneath the revenues, our revenues are controlled by property taxes and state aid. Those are our major sources. And then for expenditures, we have personnel, benefits, instructional materials, facilities, transportation, and capital outlay. And then we'll look at those. On this slide, the main thing is that this forecast is built on assumptions. And so if the assumptions don't come true, i.e. state budget, then the forecast will change, and then we will update you with a new forecast once we get those final numbers in. So here are some of the factors that are external that help control our forecast. The first one are the local. So we have enrollment, renewal levies, a new levy, and then negotiations, which is salary and benefits. On the state level, we have the Fair School Funding Plan and how they handle the base cost inputs really on that and the continued phase-in. We are monitoring House Bill 1, but we do not project that out in the forecast. There's been a lot of pushback on that one, so that bill will be changing from all of our sources and what they're saying. The biennium budget, so it's in the Senate Finance Committee right now. It's things that we're hearing that on June 6th, the Senate will put out their version, then they'll have amendments until June 9th. They'll pass it around June 15th, and then the last 2 weeks of the June will be the conference committee, where they'll iron out the differences between the House version and the Senate version. And then vouchers. Vouchers hurts us in two ways. One, it takes enrollment away from TPS, and the other, as it was, I believe, Polly said it at the VHO meeting we had a few weeks ago, it's only one pot of money. And so if vouchers are increased, that reduces the amount of money that's available for public education. So that is one that can hurt us tremendously. Key assumptions that we use for the forecast. We are expecting the renewal levies to pass. We are seeing state aid underneath the Fair School Funding Plan continue to phase in as it was originally introduced 2 years ago. And then our enrollment staying steady around 20,400 students. On the expenditure side, salaries, we know what the increase is for next fiscal year because that's already been negotiated. And for the out years of 25, 26, and 27, we're looking at historical trend or historical data and then trends that are going on in the state right now. We're expecting an increase in health insurance of 15% for fiscal year 24 and then 5% for all the out years. And then for all other expenditures, we're looking at a 2% increase in that area. And then we're also looking at a cost reduction of $10 million in the forecast. This slide here shows you all the initiatives that are included in the forecast. So you have the security upgrade, the pre-med high school, phase 1 or phase 2 and phase 3, the DeVilbiss parking lots, the advanced manufacturing, NSTC phase 2, the EV program at DeVilbiss, the CDL program, Scott Park, and then early child. Here shows, this is the slide that shows where the House Bill 33, the budget bill, is in process. And so now, if you could go over the numbers. Those are the assumptions that we use to generate the numbers now. So for property taxes, we're keeping those consistent. You'll see that it appears that there is a reduction out in 25, 26, and 27. That is the renewal levies. Those are required to be placed down at the bottom of the forecast. State aid, we used FY22 base inputs, which is the amounts that were passed by the House of Representatives. So on revenues, the major change from November is increasing our base inputs from 2018 to 2022. The base inputs are what drive the formula, and there was a fear down in Columbus from the legislature that once they put in base inputs, that school districts would spend wildly, and then we would increase our own state aid because we increased our expenses. That did not happen. The slide is not in here, but we have the slide of how much it's increased each year, which overall from 2018 to 2022, salaries, which is the largest portion of the school budget, increased. I believe it was like 7.5% to 8%. So it was not running out of control like they thought it would. On the expenditure side, other than having the initiatives in there, there was no other changes from the previous forecast. So we have the initiatives that we've seen in there. In FY25, you'll notice that that is when the ESSER funding runs out, and you can see our expenditures will be coming back to the general fund from the ESSER funding. If you scroll down just a little bit, there you go. So you see there at line 11.020, that's the renewal levies. So we'll have those on. And then this forecast is a $7 million cash balance at the end of 27. So you'll see in the discussion items is next are two resolutions. Those are the resolutions of necessity. That's the first step in placing the renewal levies onto the November ballot. We need to pass these resolutions, and then we bring those down to the county auditor, and they certify the amount that the revenue or that the levies will generate. Then that comes back, and then if we choose to proceed, then we do two more resolutions to proceed that will actually place it on the ballot. We are going a month early this year, or this time around, because when the state legislature changed the election rules and the ballot language, when the attorneys went to draft the language, there's 88 counties and there was 88 different interpretations of what they were supposed to do. So it takes a little longer to get things finalized. So by going a month early, this will give us a little extra time in case there's something that goes awry. Are there any questions on the forecast?
Thank you, Ryan. So with that, we will move to 8.03, which is the resolution of, what? Oh, sorry. I'd like to request a motion to approve the 5-year forecast. So we called the roll, so then, no, you gotta call the roll. Gotcha. Okay, there we go. Okay.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Mrs. Gherkin?
Yes.
Mrs. Barwig?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Okay, now we can go to the resolutions. 8.03, which is the resolutions of necessity to renew an existing tax for the operation expenses and for the general permanent improvements, and requesting the Lucas County Auditor to make certain certifications to the board. I would like to request a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Treasurer, call the roll.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Mrs. Gherkin?
Yes.
Mrs. Barwig?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Thank you.
1 second.
No, okay.
So that was for the 6.5 mil levy. We need to do the same resolution again for the 5.8 mil, which is a combination of 4.3 mils for current operating expenses and 1.5 mils for permanent improvements.
Is that not 8.04?
There's two renewal levies. We need to do one individually for each one.
Okay.
Those have 803 and 804. Those are the two.
Yeah, so is that the correct way to 803, 804?
We just did it.
Yeah, okay. All right, we're going to get this together. 804. Resolution of necessity to remove an existing current expense tax levy and requesting the Lucas County Auditor to make certain certifications to the board. I would like to request a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Treasurer call the roll.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Mrs. Gherkin?
Yes.
Mrs. Barwig?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Thank you. So section 9 is walk-ins. Are there any walk-ins this evening? All right, so we can go ahead and proceed to section 10, which is early childhood education items. There are no items this month. Okay. So we can go to section 11, which is the agenda consists of early childhood education reports and minutes for this month's committee meetings and are provided for your information or reference. There are no action is required, so we can proceed to section 12, which is walk-ins, and we do not have any early childhood walk-ins as well. So now we can go to section 13 to 15, comments by the superintendent.
Yes, a few things. Again, congratulations to Coach Guerrero, who was my basketball coach at Wade High School, along with my cousins and my brother. Also a notion to make mention is the Young Scholar Program. We, for the last, I would say, 8 years, have achieved the second highest in Young Scholar acceptance out of all the urban 8. So we compete heavily with them between us and Columbus in regard to the highest. So we're excited to be able to represent in that aspect. Again, in regard to 12 graduations we're going through, one down and several to come. So the students see me at one. It's surprising how many kids will go to one graduation after another and then have their own. And every one of them, they always say, "Are you going to bring the same energy you did at the last one?" So it's impressive in regard to the support they have. But the notion at Twitter Early College had 50% of their students graduate with an associate degree this year. Last year they had 55% graduate with the same. So it's phenomenal in regard to the outcomes within the district. Don't forget, we've already had the flower sale, we already had the expo, and then don't forget this week we have the Memorial Day at Wade High School, which is a great thing that they put on each and every day, or each and every year, so we're excited about that, and at the end of the day, I'll see each and every one of you at graduation, so again, thank you, TPS proud.
Thank you, Dr. Durant. Treasurer?
Yeah, tonight I wanted to update you, since it's getting closer to June 1st, on all the debt ceiling debate that's going on and how that could affect TPS. So there's two areas that it could affect us: in our investments and our federal grants. So in the investment area, we purchase U.S. Treasuries. If they don't increase the debt ceiling, then we will not be able to collect back. The U.S. government won't be able to pay their debt back to us. So we have 3 Treasury bills coming up here in July, August, and then one in November. So we have about $20 million invested in U.S. Treasuries. We ladder our investments. So right now we are funded through September 30th of 2023. So we have concerns. Don't get me wrong, we have concerns, but we have enough in our liquid assets to cover through September of 23. And then the other option, or not the option, the other thing we are doing is we will be, when we receive our state aid and our advances on our real estate taxes in June and then in July, if they don't have this resolved, we will keeping those investments in the Star, Ohio, where it's very liquid and we can get to them, so we won't be tying them up. The other area is federal grants. And so the way that works is the feds send money to the state, and then we get reimbursement from the state for our expenditures in Title I, Title II, IDA, and some of the other competitive grants. So if the feds aren't sending the money to the state, when we go to get reimbursement, the money may not be there. So we're monitoring that. When I said we were funded, we have, the federal programs are included in that funded, so we have that covered. The other area where that may come into play is food service, because we get federal reimbursements from the food service, specifically for summer school. So we'll be monitoring that to watch that also. But I just want to let you know that we had it on our radar. We have plans in place to help cover what we need to cover until they get the debt ceiling figured out. But that's, unless you have any questions, that's all I have.
Thank you. Section 15 is board members' comments. Board member Vasquez.
Yeah, just a couple of things. One is just part of the discussion that Treasurer just talked about. We're required to make assumptions regarding our finances, and those assumptions are based on what happens down at the state legislature and how they're going to fund us. And to be honest with you, we have no idea. So we take our best estimate of how that's going to go. That puts us in a real tough spot. That puts Mr. Steck-Schulte in a real tough spot, and I think that you and your staff are doing the best that you can based on these assumptions. I think what's hard to understand to the everyday person who's looking at that is, if something changes, why the big change? And it's hard to explain that we actually have to make a budget on pure assumptions. And that's why it changes, because we don't know what you're going to do. That's tough. The other thing is that as you talked about raising the debt ceiling and the politics that are going on there, it's incredible that we have to be held captive by the things that are going on in the federal government. And by being held captive, I mean we can't, again, assume that we're going to get our reimbursements as we should in a timely basis, as we should. So that's one thing. The last thing is that as part of the policy committee, we have looked at and reviewed some policies that pertain to the board and how we run things and everything. And Mr. Murphy, you need to get those changes to Mr. Steck-Schulte so that he can get them to the president so that we make sure that we have all those changes. And also, I would urge the board members to just take another look at some of those, because some of them, the section we went over last time really pertained to board governance, board finances, those kinds of things, which would be really, really important. So, Mr. Steck-Schulte, you really have to make contact with Mr. Murphy. We just passed those in our consent agenda, so make sure we're okay with those. That's all.
Thank you. Board member Barwick.
You know what, I'm just going to leave on a positive note tonight because that was depressing, Ryan. Thank you. So, you know what, I want to leave with a positive that we need to focus on our students. You know, the powers that be down in Columbus and at the federal level, you know, they're going to make the decisions that they're going to make. And we just have to stay student-centered and student-focused. And sometimes you have to make lemonade out of lemons, right? So, or whatever the phrase is, right? So with that, I look forward to the graduation ceremonies. Thank you.
Thank you. Board member Gerken.
I have nothing, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Vice President.
I have nothing else except for these are my last 7 days as an active parent of TPS. Thank you.
We're going to definitely need to get him some tissue after graduation, Dr. Durant. All I want to say is what you are seeing behind the curtain right now is them, and when I say them, I said I wasn't going to give energy, but I'm going to give a little bit. Them actively defunding public education. This is what it looks like. They are taking it through challenges at our educators and our staff. They are challenging how we see and welcome our students, and now they're going to see how we are funded, and they're going to keep cutting because they want to defund public education to make sure that our future don't know the harm that can be caused by oppression. And just to note that the day that they passed the bill to really pretty much cancel DEI and higher ed was the same day that Brown versus Board of Education was passed. And they say if you don't learn your history, you are doomed to repeat it. So let's make sure that doesn't happen. And with that, I would like to make a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Treasurer, call for the roll, please.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Mrs. Gerken? Mrs. Barwig?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Thank you and have a good evening.